What's your sense on how much the subreddits, all the way from the like OG Wall Street Bets through to superstonk and even the discords, like there's a lot of accusations obviously thrown around that they're bought and paid for, like the mods on some of the subreddits, that there's like even on the discords there's like accusations sometimes thrown around of shills being in there or one of the mods being paid, or there's thread splitting going on, or they're like people are dumping loads of specific things in order to bury something. Like, what is your sense of how real that is and how much that's just a bunch of paranoid redditors?
It's real. I can fully confidently say that that's real. There have been issues with bots, shills, people being paid. Like this is absolutely happening. These what we're up against is a mountain of wealth. They're gonna pay people to try to take down what we're doing. That's like logic just dictates that. It's like a dumb Cold War on the internet. Like, this is a financial battlefield. This is absolutely happening.
Quinn, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, we've had people show us emails they've gotten of people asking to pay them to talk about other stocks or to degrade other stocks in the subreddits. This is real stuff. It's happening.
Wow.
And you see fishy Twitter accounts that are either super fresh and all they do is shit on these stocks or the community, or some like kind of more nefarious ones where they're older accounts that haven't posted for 10 years and all of a sudden they're just questioning everything, like, is that really what we should be doing, or blah blah, which are a little like, there's some wiggle.
I don't think it's really weird. And these are tactics you're seeing even with the like in-person protests that we had in the pandemic as well, for like the movement. Like, you see the same tactics being used to try to infiltrate, gain trust, and then flip the script. So we're not going to name any names, and like we have some people that have given us information that we're not going to talk about, but like it is absolutely happening, and in some are more coordinated than others. But when you look at it and you see it, it's just like, oh, gross. This is absolutely out there. So be careful of where your information comes from. And then anyone who you look at as like a community leader, if you've never heard of them before and they came out of nowhere, just really be careful and look at their history and where they come from and what their day job. Like, just look them up. Don't just trust them because everyone's on into it. There's been a few who've been like,
yeah,
what?
Who did they work for before?
Yeah.
Who's the last 10 people that paid them money?
Who pays them money?
Who pays them money? Who's paid them money in the past? Because they just might be paying them money now. So
Don't just trust some random guy on the internet with a cat as an avatar just because he says one stock is really good.
Or even us. Like, we're just like, we can tell you who we are until we're blue in the face, but like, look us up. You look at my Reddit, it's all like pizza pictures and like my pug. Like this ain't a rich guy. So
I'm like posting on the Ancestry one, or the bread or fermenting subreddits. Oh, that's some nice looking jalapenos you got there.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know why you became a little old British lady. But anyway. You try,
hey guys. Do you think there are any like serious whales in on this?
Yeah.
Like, aside from say like BlackRock, which is the big one, the hedge fund wise, like, do you think there's like some do you think there's some quiet celebrities or like more famous people out there with a lot of money on this?
Famous?
There's a lot of quiet rich people.
Yeah, a couple people have messaged us and like shown us their positions. They're like, oh my God, how much do you like movies? Like, it's they're out there, and they'll do what they want to do, and like, honestly, I don't really care. Like, I know why I bought into these things, and until the reason that I've bought into them changes, I'll hold the stock just like any good investor would. Anytime, like, throughout this that I've invested in something else and been like, oh, and let emotion and fear dictate, whether it's fear of missing out or fear of losing money, it's a bad play. Like, you pick your fundamentals, you go into it. This is not financial advice. I'm an idiot. But like, until that changes, whatever. So I don't really care who else is into this in the end. Like, I'll do what I want with my money. If I want to go on a rooftop and throw it all off, the government better let me do that.
I couldn't agree more. So, like, what do you guys think is going to be the biggest takeaway from this? Like, what's the biggest sort of result of this going to be?
It's a tough question to answer. There are definitely things that I wish and hope for. Stronger financial literacy, more transparency in our financial markets, global financial markets in particular. There's just so much room for shadiness in the way money moves between entities in different countries, and a lot of opportunities to hide illegal or nefarious activity. But my biggest hope is that people realize that they have a lot more in common than they think they do, and that people who have been disparaged and shat on for millennia by people at the top of any given society, all of them, doesn't matter what structure you have, it's always the people on the bottom that are getting stepped on so other people can stand on top and go like that. So I hope people realize that even with something as silly as a stock, one single stock or two individual stocks, you can band together. And there's a lot of power there. There's enough power to at least start making them bleed a little bit, to bring the pain and bring some actual change. Not that, you have to be in this for some big social change, but it's possible.
Yeah, I think I hope that there's some empathy in groups that are less fortunate, because, like I said earlier, or touched on at least, like, it is in the powerful community's best interest to keep those less fortunate people against each other. That's how they have these hyper vigilant groups that get them elected or make them rich. So I would say I hope empathy builds between less fortunate groups, and that they realize that they have a lot more in common than they think, and that the vitriol on the extreme ends is just that. I really believe that financial literacy will become way more of a priority than it has been for kids in education. We would love to try to find a way to support a nonprofit in that regard as well. I also think on the more like the market structure side of things, I do think that failure to delivers and naked short selling is going to have, more of a lens than it has been. Like, there have been legislation in the last few years that have addressed this issue. This is not a new thing, but I think now with this new wave of public investors interested in it, we'll likely see the SEC making some sort of changes. But I digress. I hope the change we see is social, because that will only cause more change. We can have one governmental thing happen now, but if the people come together, become interested, and have another generation to become interested, it's like you can teach a man to fish and he'll catch fish, right? Like that kind of thing. We need to all learn about how this works, get it out in the open, because it may not be our generation, but the next one might be the one that actually fixes what's going on and levels the playing field, and hopefully helps ease the gigantic wealth divide between the lower and upper classes. So, generational class struggle, man.
Vertical, not horizontal.
Vertical, not horizontal. That is, that's a pretty nice way, and a very, very nice moment on which to end. Everybody check out apes-together-strong.com. I will put the link in the description below for anyone who can't spell or type, as I'm sure there are plenty of those people listening.
We have also, sorry to interrupt, we just started our crowdfunding campaign today. So if you go to that website, you can see support the film in a link, or apes-together-strong.com/donate. We're trying to crowdfund as much of this film as we possibly can. So any support we can get from you all is super appreciated. And a $100 level gets you a nice backers exclusive t-shirt. So check it out.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, or sign up to our mailing list. Thanks a lot to our sponsor, ExpressVPN, the #1 most trusted VPN. Get lightning fast connectivity with servers in 160 locations across 94 countries. Keep your browsing privacy safe with ExpressVPN and get a 35% discount on 12 months of ExpressVPN when you follow the link in the description below. Don't forget my book is now out and available to order on Amazon and on bookshop.org. That's Brexit, the Establishment Civil War. And most importantly, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.